Good day everyone. I am the first reporter of Chapter 7, which is the Patterns and Algebra. Lesson 1. Writing rules for sequences. Number 1. Objective. Formulate the rule in finding the nth term of a sequence. So what is nth? Nth refers to an unspecified position on first number in a sequence, series, or set. Number 2, drill. Have the pupils keep count by 5, by 8, by 10, and by 12. Third, review. So for example, let the student give the seventh term in each. So here's the numbers given. 3, 6, 9, 12. So what will be the seventh term? Okay, let's find. As you can see, how many numbers was kept from 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and 9 to 12. Okay, let's count. From 12, 13, 14, 15. So, 15 is the fifth term. Let's continue. 15, 16, 17, 18. So, 18 is the sixth term. Now, let's continue. 15, 16, 17, 18. So, 18 is the sixth term. Then now, let's find the seventh term. From 18, 19, 20, 21. So, the seventh term is 21. Another example, 0.6, 0.12, 0.18, 0.24. So, pangitaon gihapon nato ang ikapito nga term numbers. So, start counting from 0.24, 0.25, 0.26, 0.27, 0.28, 0.29, 0.30, and 0.30 is the fifth term. Okay, let's continue from 0.30, 0.31, 0.32, 0.33, 0.34, and 0.35, 0.36. So, 36 is the sixth term. Now, finally, let's find the seventh term. From 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.36, 0.37, 0.38, 0.39, 0.40, 0.41, 0.42. So, 0.42 is the seventh term in our sequences. So, let's move to motivation. Have the pupils guess the next letter in the sequence below. So, O, O, T, T, F, F, S, S, E. So, what the next of the letter A? Okay, let's find. Kani nga sequence, nag-consist ni siya sa mga first letter of the English words for the numbers nga gikan sa 1 to 8. So, what's the next letter? As you can see in the pictures, so the next letter is N, which is represented by the first letter of the number 9. Gets nyo? Okay, let's proceed to the presentation. This is the Pascal's triangle and show the sum of the numbers diagonally. So here's the given Pascal's triangle, and then tell the pupils to list diagonal sums in order and let them guess the next three numbers. So now, let's calculate the sums of the diagonals shown. The pattern of the sum of the diagonals in Pascal's triangle is related to Fibonacci sequence. However, the way the diagonals are drawn in this specific image result in a slightly different sequence initially. So, the calculated sum 1, 1, 3, 4, 8, 12, 17, 23. So, the next three numbers and is the 12, 17, and the 23. Let's proceed to the depaning. Sequence or progression, a set of numbers written in a special order by the application of a definite rule term, each number in a sequence. So, for example, y1, y squared, y3, y4. So, the answer is y5, y6, and y7. This is the three next terms in the sequence. Okay? Another example. Letter A, 2B, 3C, 4D. So, the next sequence, the answer is 5A, 6F, and 7G. Okay? In terms of counting the numbers, the set of the number 1, 2, 3, 4 without 0, tell the pupils that the sequences usually follow a rule that can be applied to the counting numbers to find the nth term in a sequence. So, another example, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next three sequence is 6, 7, 8. Another, 2, 4, 6, 8. So, pila man ang number nga nag-skip sa ilaha. As you can see, di ba 2? So, after sa 8, ang answer is 10, 12, 14. So, that's the three terms sequence. Next is 2, 5, 8, 11. So, pila man ka numbers ang na-skip nila, ang gap. 2, 3, 4, 5, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, 3 numbers ang na-skip. Okay, let's continue from 11, 12, 13, 14. Tapos, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, 14, 17, and 20 is the 3 sequence numbers. Nagets ninyo? Thank you everyone.